Welcome to Moonlight Radio. Your next stop? Moonlight Station, the station of life. Please stand by.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a brief video. I was just looking at some things, so I'm like kind of squeezing this in at the very beginning of the morning at 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday, and it hasn't yet become my turn to take care of the dog just yet. So while he's asleep, I wanted to sneak this little video in and just ask this question. If you don't stan a group anymore, right? If you pull support, if you boycott because of the company's mistreatment of a group or because of the company's inability to have a spine in the face of toxic netizens, does the company really lose anything? Do they even care? I've thought about this a lot. And actually, when I made the Seunghan video, the last one, I think it was the last one, where I was like getting all hot and bothered and yelling for the first time in my life in a video. Not really, but really. I was thinking about this and I was like, is the company really losing anything? Because you see them going through with whatever they've been going through. You see them appeasing to the OT6ers. You don't really see them caring too much about what the OT7 fans think. They don't care about the fans at all. And the thing that I don't understand is, just because you're a Korean fan and SM's appealing to you guys, and I'm not saying all Koreans are like this, but those that did the whole funeral wreath thing with those really, really terrible comments written on the funeral wreaths, those who were bashing him for being a normal human being and having a girlfriend and taking a puff. It seems to me that because of the way that company systems are, it's a problem, quote unquote, a problem. And I'm sarcastically saying that, to have a girlfriend and to smoke. And yet, you know, you see idols do it all the time. And it's a really, really terrible trend to shame idols for doing normal human things. Companies don't care. Just because you're a Korean fan does not mean that companies are going to, you know, kiss up to you because they care about what you think. They don't really care about what you think. They do base things sometimes off of how Korean fans feel about certain things, toxic ones at that, but overall they don't really care about what you think. They only care about what makes them money. And seeing that they did not completely terminate Seunghan's contract, but instead are trying to get as much money out of him and his fan base as possible by promoting him as a solo artist. And I don't think they're going to do a very good job with that, because you see how they're treating Lucas. I doubt they're going to treat Seunghan any different when it comes to promoting, marketing, music. You know, they're probably going to take some rejected song from the vault and give it to Seunghan just like they did Lucas. In my humble opinion, that's what it sounds like, because Lucas's main single was not good, in my opinion. The song just sounded like someone just took a crap and said, hey, here you go. I know it smells bad, but hey, I'm sure your loyal fans will still support you no matter what, and will get some money out of you because of your fan base, which goes to show just how little they care about their own idols, artists' careers. You put them in a group and then you help ruin their career by appealing to the whims of these ridiculous people out there on the internet, and people showing up to your doorstep, SM, and you say, oh, yep, this is a problem. How do we fix it? Oh, I know. Let's kick Lucas out, or let's kick Seunghan out of their group. So you basically ruin your own idol's career only to try to like build it back up again, because you know they didn't do anything wrong. That's the worst part, is that they know they didn't do anything wrong. If they did do something wrong, they would have been treated like Tail or other artists. They would have been kicked out of the company completely, contract terminated and all that stuff. But they didn't do that to Seunghan. They didn't do that to Lucas. So that just goes to show they're guilty and they refuse to take accountability for it. So there's that. And that is another reason why I think boycotting is important. I know that it feels like it doesn't do much, and I know that it does feel like, look, the companies really don't have anything to lose by people boycotting, but it's all about, I feel like, the principle of it. When you've done wrong and you need to be held accountable for what you've done as a company or as a fandom, that has lost all sense of sanity, boycotting and going against what they have done and the narrative that they are trying to spin, and being loud about it like how the toxic people are. That's what we need to do, right? But that brings me to another point. I know I said in the past that we should boycott when companies do stuff like this, and I do agree that's something that we should be doing, but at the same time, it's just like, is it really doing anything? And I'm not saying it's not. Like, we still hold SM accountable as a result of what they did with the Seunghan situation, how they treated it, and we'll never let them live it down. But I think the issue is, like, do they care enough to actually do a better job with the next group that comes out and the group after that group? And an even better question would be, do you really think that everything we're doing to boycott Riize is going to actually change SM's mind about what they did and not make the same mistake in the future? Like, is it going to change their business model? Is it going to change how they do things as an entity, as a corporation? And my answer is, I don't think that they care that much. They will never care as much as the fans care. And that's the sad part. They will never care as much as we care. And so I just wanted to make this video to ask you guys the question, do you guys think that they are losing anything by having divided fandom of OT7 and OT6 split apart like this, fighting each other like this? And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing to fight each other in this sense, but to have a split fandom and for you to have basically co-signed on that fandom as a company and said, okay, yeah, fandom war, perfect. This is what we want. Wouldn't you want a fandom to stick together? And I'm not going to entirely blame SM for this, because it is the fans' fault, the OT6 fans, who shamed Seunghan for being a normal human being like they are, that mainly contributed to this issue. But of course, my issue with the company has always been and will always be that they facilitated this environment. They co-signed this toxic behavior, and the ramifications of that are pretty scary if you think about it in a future sense. This could happen again and again and again, and SM will constantly back and support and co-sign toxic sasang behavior again and again and again. This is a problem, and I hope to God it stops, and stops soon, because if not, we're gonna keep ending up in these situations and we'll be failing. And it's like, it's not even supposed to be our responsibility to do this, but because of the stupidity of the company, we have no choice. We've been given no other alternative but to push back, but to fight back. And it's not because we want to hurt Riize, but it's like when you establish a group as 7 people and then you remove one because toxic sasang netizens have constantly been bombarding you with this nonsense that he's a danger to the group, that he's cursed, right? That he's shamed and disgraced, and that if Riize interacts with this group in any way, shape, or form, they too are cursed. They're a cursed group. They're still acting like this. And here's the thing. The reason why I'm making this video in the first place is because I literally saw something very interesting on YouTube where it was talking about how Riize's TickTock account followed Seunghan's TickTock account, and OT6 fans got pissed off about it to the point where they were basically threatening Riize, saying that Seunghan is a disgraced member, and if you associate with them in any way, you're going to be cursed. Basically, we're going to make sure that your career is ruined as a group. Why would you back people that care so little about the remaining 6 members that they are willing to basically curse and shame them for supporting or backing Seunghan, communicating with him in any way? This is the kind of behavior that you're facilitating, SM. You've got to do better than this. To this day, I don't know if they care. And again, let me just clarify something, because during this time when I was making these Seunghan videos and all this, I was saying that SM is not people, it's an entity. And I've said this before in another video, I want to clarify this. My mind has changed. I now no longer believe that an entity can exist without people steering the entity and steering the ship. In fact, the entity can't even be created without a person starting and creating an entity. So I don't believe that anymore. I believe that entities are created by people, And the people are basically the entity itself. These people, these board members who make these decisions, they care nothing about what we believe, what we think, how hard we fight. They're not losing anything, in my humble opinion, except for international fans and their money. Which is funny considering they're all about trying to Americanize or Westernize or branch out into the Western market and try to do what Bong Shi-hyuk did with BTS. They're all for doing that. They're all for at least trying to. But do they really care about how we think, the international fans? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's only when we say that this person is this, that, and the other, and you need to kick him out, then they care. But as long as it's for a good cause and a good reason, yes, kick a member out. But this? And you still back this kind of behavior? You're still okay with this? And that's the thing that pisses me off about SM. These people don't care at all. So no, they're not losing anything, except maybe some revenue from the Western market. But guess what? They have tons of other groups that can more than make up for that. That's why they don't care. They have other groups that can break out in the Western market and do a very good job and get international money. They could care less. I promise you this, if Riize was their only K-pop group, they would never have kicked Seunghan out. Wanna know why? Because that would have been the only K-pop group that has Western market and Korean market in their pocket. They would never have. I promise you, if I was a betting man, I would have bet money that that's what would have happened. But because they could afford to do it, they did it. Because they could afford to let Seunghan go, they let him go. But it's about the principle of the thing. If you establish a 7-member group and the netizens and toxic stans in Korea are yelling at the top of their lungs that he committed some kind of heinous crime, when all he really did was smoke a puff and have a girlfriend, and the pictures were leaked by people who he thought were his friends, which all the more reason to reevaluate and reassess your friendship circle. But still, you're appeasing these toxic people, and because of the voices of these people, you're like, oh nope, I guess we need to get rid of them because we want to keep the Korean money flowing, you know. Now, to be fair, there is another section of people on the opposite side of this who are arguing that this whole Riize TikTok account following Seunghan's TikTok account is nothing more than a publicity stunt by the company, because the company are the ones who run the accounts, all the accounts online. And so they followed Seunghan knowing that it would cause the OT6 fans to be enraged, and then quickly unfollowed them because their mission was accomplished and they got what they wanted out of the OT6ers, which was hate towards Seunghan and more publicity for the Riize members as 6. And if that's true, then it's all the more reason why I say that I don't believe they care, because they did this on purpose. Why would you further damage Seunghan's career again by picking the scab, right? Or pouring salt on a wound so that the Riize members can get some kind of publicity. That's evil. If that's true, that's evil. And I wouldn't put it past SM to do something stupid like this. So I wanted to give both perspectives on both sides, because I've seen the comments in some of the things that I've been looking at with them saying, yeah, this was definitely SM trying to get publicity for Riize, because, you know, Riize is, I guess, supposed to be coming out with a full-length album or whatever, their first full-length album, and right on the heels of that, they decide to pull this stupid publicity stunt where Riize's TikTok account follows Seunghan's, which is very annoying if that's true. And I'm inclined to believe that actually might have happened. But yeah, I just wanted to give two sides to this story, two perspectives to this story, so you can let me know what you think about that in the comments. But let me get back to what I was saying here. It's all about the principle of a thing. I hate to repeat myself, but if you establish a 7-member group and no one's committed any crimes, actual crimes, then there is no point in getting rid of a member just because a bunch of stupid people out there who have entitlement issues and whose lives apparently suck scream to the top of their lungs and put funeral wreaths on your property and calling for the death of Seunghan's career. Yeah, that's the kind of people you have facilitated, and this is a result of decades of stupid practices, draconian practices. Oh, you can't date. Oh, you can't smoke. Oh, you can't do all this other stupid stuff. It's dumb. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. This was a short little video. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the news that I had seen about Seunghan being followed by Riize official TikTok account and the toxic OT Sixers getting hot and bothered by it. I'm not even angry because it's like I've already vented and shared my thoughts in vivid detail in previous videos about this. So I don't really need to rehash it. What I do want to do though is highlight the seriousness of how this affects the industry. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I am a bit tired. Taking care of the dog has been exhausting. It really has been exhausting because I'm the main person at home taking care of him. And yeah, but I wanted to get this in before he wakes up and starts barking and yelping for my attention and my help. So thank you guys for listening. I'm going to try my best to put out some more videos, so bear with me. Sorry that this video took so long. Sorry that me uploading videos has taken so long. But I do want to say I appreciate you guys so much. So much for staying with me. Because I never said that my channel was done or that I was finished or that I was saying my goodbyes to the moon base or anything. I'm still here. It's just taking me a minute because I'm adjusting to so many different things, and life is lifing. That's the best way I can describe it. Life is lifing. But I do want to say again, thank you so much to those who have been here for a long time and for those who have just subscribed to the channel. And if you are interested in the content that is coming, which will be more positive content, and every now and then I'll slip in some content like this as well, where I give my thoughts on a serious topic. But other than that, I'm going to try to make this channel a little more positive, a little more upbeat. And I know you guys would love to hear my positive take on a lot of K-pop stuff. Drama-free, right? So would I. I would love to do it. So let me know how you feel about that in the comments. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, it's your boy Moonlight signing out. Peace. Love you guys. Bye-bye.